Mutual of Chaos presents The Wild Realms. Today's episode, The Beasts of the Realms. The mortal realms are a vast cornucopia of life, with creatures both large and small, simple and cunning, tame and exotic. While everyone can appreciate the splendor of this diversity, today we will focus in on the darker denizens of the wilds. These are fearsome creatures in their own right, but become even more terrifying as they are swept up in the call of war. While frequently seen moving in loose herds along with the beasts of chaos, our photographers at Mutual of Chaos managed to capture a few scant images of these beasts in their natural habitat before meeting their horrific demise. Today we will explore these found photos as we introduce the Beasts of the Realms. We begin our exploration with the humble Jabber Sloth, appearing as every repulsive thing you've ever scraped off the bottom of your shoe glued together. The Jabber Sloth enters the battle. This hideous beast is a fusion of toad, insect, and a slug drake, and has become the very face of anarchy. The Jabber Sloth is not to be confused with his evolutionary cousin, the Jabberjaw. The Jabber Sloth is a welcome addition to any Beasts of Chaos army. His lumbering and strained appearance disguises his true ferocity. His tongue lashes out to strike at any nearby foes. His many limbs reached out to pull down his prey, and its comparatively small wings allow for small bursts of flight, meaning it can pounce on unsuspecting victims. Despite their hideous nature and deplorable odor, a Jabber Sloth can become a true engine of destruction in the hands or claws of a skilled beast lord. We speak next of the aerial demon known as the Chimera. Stories date back to the earliest days of the Age of Myth about the predatory Chimera, an amalgamation of several creatures bound together by the warping power of chaos. The Chimera soars above the skies of the mortal realms, always looking for prey. The most notable and consistent feature of any Chimera are its three heads. Typically one is dragon-like, one is very much like a lion, and the third being an avian or bird type. In tandem, these heads make for a fearsome foe. The dragon head will shoot gouts of flame, while the lion head has the strength to pin down any enemy with a powerful bite. At the same time, the avian's beak is able to pierce the toughest of armor. However, the strength of this thrice-headed beast is often its downfall, as arguments quickly arise between its many minds. For example, the dragon head may say, "What do we want for dinner?" The avian head will say, "I don't know, you choose." "How about human?" "Not that." "But you told me to choose." "Yes, but not that one." So this bickering cycle continues until they ultimately eat the human, but the bird head becomes passive-aggressive towards the dragon head for a day or so. Despite being a warping power of chaos, this ritual often mirrors those of mating humans. Towering over other beasts we'll cover today is the Chaos Gargant, a living obelisk of flesh as tall and menacing as he is dim-witted. Gargants have long existed in the mortal realms. It is only more recently that they have begun being corrupted by the forces of chaos that are taking hold in the lands. This warping power has stolen what little minds they had left, instead replacing it with a ferocious rage. And adding to that rage is the deadly strength and stature of such a beast, making them a fine addition to any beast herd. However, it is well known that other forces of chaos look down on the Gargants because of their lack of intelligence and guile compared to anything else in the Beasts of Chaos. Because as we all know, subtlety is the hallmark of any screaming half-beasts that run naked wild at the enemy while erecting Wicker Man-like towers to offer sacrifices in. The wild Cockatrice stands alone in many ways from other beasts that we'll cover today. Far more reserved and isolated than other creatures, it only exits its deep caves while in search for prey. It will often find the trail of destruction left by a Beasts of Chaos army and follow in, circling in on any nearby battles in search of dinner. When it decides on a kill, the Cockatrice will dive straight at the enemy. Those foolish enough to look upon it will find a glowing predatory gaze. The power of chaos emanates from Cockatrice's eyes, instantly turning its prey into a statue of living stone. This diving motion will happen several times throughout a battle, and at the end, the Cockatrice will collect his grim trophies and bring them back to his cave. There he will take his time and chew and eat the still conscious stone victims. Sometimes the warping power of chaos can twist a single breed or species, not always combining aspects of multiple beasts. Such is the case for the humble Razor Gore. Starting its life as a common tusk gore, the insidious power of chaos warps the beast both in stature and temperament, rapidly growing its muscles to bursting proportions and filling its simple mind with perpetual rage. When grown to maturation, the Razor Gore can level a small regiments with its thunderous charge and thrashing limbs. Razor Gores are also omnivores in the truest sense, able to eat meat, plants, and even metals. They can devour a well-armed Duarden, armor and all, in a matter of seconds, but are still unsatisfied, as such is their high metabolism. Their inability to tell friend from foe makes them extremely hard to corral, but highly effective in use on the battlefield. Hovering on the outskirts of any Beasts of Chaos army are the Chaos Warhounds, ferocious creatures that are the spawn of hunting dogs and feral wolves being corrupted by the power of chaos. They devolve from their regal forms into true creatures of horror. They grow large fangs and crude horns. They skulk the woods as a pack in search of fresh meat to feed on. The alpha male of any Chaos Warhound pack is known as the Cujo, the most ferocious and deadly of its kind, while the beta of any Chaos Warhound pack is known as the Balto, weak and docile. In tandem, they keep the pack on a perpetual hunt, seeking out any travelers who go too far from the safeties of towns or cities. The last creature we will look upon today is certainly the most pitiable, the humble Chaos Spawn. These horrific amalgamations of flesh and bones are in a state of perpetual mutation, growing limbs, tentacles, and eyes constantly. Their forms are both clear and yet ever-changing. To become a spawn is to take in too much chaos power than you can handle. This influx of warping energy breaks you down at your very being, and you warp into this terrible form that can only be described as the word ew. At this point you have lost your mind, soul, and your body, a truly cursed existence for anyone. And yet spawndom is a necessary risk taken by all of those who walk the path to glory. This has been Mutual of Chaos, Wild Realms, brought to you by the Chaos Gods themselves, the gods that care. If you found this video educational, please share it with your friends or online social group. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time, Realm Explorers.